How did you get involved in the academy?
I'm a PhD scholar with the GEMMS project. My training has been in public health before starting my PhD, and my interests have largely been around queer health and mental health. So issues of gender, sexuality, and mental health or public health more broadly. Migration for me was something new. Uh, uh, my focus on migration research emerged only as I joined GEMS. Uh, so training for migration related research was always something that I was looking forward to even before joining GEMS.
Were there specific skills you wanted to improve?
Other than the fact that as GEMS scholars, we almost are inducted into the program, and we are part of every activity that happens with GEMS, and the training was essentially under the GEMS banner. So I mean, everything related to GEMS we are part of. But other than that, I think it's always, like I said, migration as a domain of research was new to me. So connecting with migration scholars, with engaging more with migration research literature, and just understanding the landscape of work, not just research but also development, broader global development work around migration was something that was very exciting and thrilling.
Were there specific aspects that stood out for you?
I mean, the one thing that really stood out for me and was an incredible experience was the fact that I could present my work in as a poster. That was the first time I was doing that. So that was really exciting. Also to kind of get feedback from other researchers, not just within GEMS but also the cohort of the academy, including some really prolific researchers who were faculty in the academy. That really helped. That was really useful, and it was a great experience, a great learning. Uh, Other than that, of course, there were some concepts which are introduced in the training, which I also am using in my PhD work, like some theoretical concepts related to mental health and how psychosocial precarity among migration can be studied, what frameworks can be used. So I am using one such theoretical framework which was spoken about in the academy in my own doctoral work. Um, and yes, in some really critical, uh, very it can seem very theoretical, but also they are part and parcel of research processes. Things like ethical challenges. How do you navigate ethical challenges around with migration research? Uh, the session was that the session on that was also very thought provoking, and it stayed with me for a while. Uh, yeah, and just the fact that you could listen to uh, so many stalwarts in the academy. There were a few speakers who were from my country who I have known of, but I could never have. I never had the opportunity to sit in class for them. So that was great too. And of course some really renowned uh, global professors from other countries who I could only have engaged with through the academy.
Have you applied any learnings in your research?
One of the theoretical frameworks which were thrown at the academy very briefly was something that I read up on more and also have integrated it into my own doctoral research. Uh, So that was I think one of the most tangible outcomes of the academy. Other than that, I feel like there was a session on field note taking as well, which, although I'm just beginning fieldwork, but there are notes that I've made about it, and I'm sure to implement a lot of those learnings into my own field now. And of course, there were a few connections I made. They were prior connections, although, but like they rekindled in the academy, uh, and professional connections. So I had an invitation to come and attend one of their community consultation events for a program that they were running in their organization. So that was also a good professional engagement.
Can you share examples of these connections or collaborations?
There was a colleague from an organization named Sangat in India, which is a mental health research organization, uh, very does pioneering work in India, who I had collaborated with before joining GEMS as well. Uh, one of uh, one of their colleagues had also attended the Migration Research Academy in Kathmandu, so I had known him before, but we also, like, there were synergies found again, and like the connections rekindled, and they came to know that I was also in India. So when they had an event, so they were working on uh, a community consultation event to gain insights about to gain community perspectives on uh, the mental health response during the COVID pandemic, specific to queer and trans people in India. So I was invited to one of those to that community consultation event when it happened in the city that I'm based in.
Have there been any challenges implementing any learnings?
My current research is such that I am working with queer communities. So challenges of recruitment, challenges of uh, participant recruitment itself is such a huge one sometimes, and maintaining anonymity, confidentiality. You have to be extra careful from the context that I'm in, about just being doubly sure of whether participants are being protected enough, uh, but also at the same time, uh, uh, there's a lot uh, there's a lot of hope that the participants see in you, in terms of their situation or their circumstances changing. So you feel like there is a sense of responsibility towards them, but there's also that expectation management, and uh, how exactly what is in your scope and what isn't, as a researcher. So all those things are definitely challenges.
Is there any specific training you would like to see in the next academy?
A lot of things would have been covered in that uh, uh, arts-based approaches class, but that didn't end up happening. I am using timeline methods as one of the methods for timeline drawing as one of the methods for data collection in my project. And I'm sure I'm going to encounter some challenges with that, but yeah, I'm just trying to read up on how. I'm just trying to be extra prepared before I encounter those challenges.
Looking ahead, how do you anticipate using this in future?
There's of course hints of an idea which come to mind, but it's also not something that you actively work on when you have a plate full as a PhD candidate. So it's of course it's there in the back of my head. Like because migration right now is like such an explosive topic, to say the least, in in the global development arena. Uh, I feel like I'm as challenging as it is to be to be involved in migration work. I feel like it's also I'm glad I am in it at a time where when it's most required. Uh, and what really gives me a lot of hope is that not a lot of people have worked on the intersections of uh, queer identities and migration. A lot of it has been looked at. Migration has often been seen, the migrant has often been seen as a heterosexual cisgender person, uh, more often than not male. But so it's exciting times. I'm excited to see where my PhD research leads me to. A lot of what I find through my PhD research will also guide how um, I can look at more global issues. Right now, my issue is very contextualized to India. So, finding synergies and finding avenues for further research uh, in this area, but more global, would be something that I'll be interested in, and I'm actively looking forward to it. I'm also, ever since the CADA training, I also have been selected for this a network of migration scholars called the IMISCO, IMISCOE, uh, which is an international global network of migration researchers. Uh, Myself and another colleague of mine, Tanatswa, have been uh, selected as as part of the newest cohort of PhD candidates into the network. So yeah, as using every network possible to see what kind of future collaborations come up.
Any final words?
I hope there is another one. I hope there is another CADA.